updated Vintage Land, where what we're going to be playing today is kind of an older style control list known as Slaver Control in Grixis colors. Now, originally this deck used to play Thirst for Knowledge and Goblin Welder and Mindslaver, and we would draw a bunch of cards with Thirst as the main engine, discarding something like the Mindslaver or Blightsteel Colossus, bring it back with the Goblin Welder, and then just use that to win while countering everything else you're doing and drawing a bunch of cards. Now, since Thirst for Knowledge got restricted for being too good of a draw engine, the deck really fell out of favor because there's no way to get cards into the grave in an efficient manner. And then Dack Fayden got printed. Now this deck might be back, and this is a cool experiment. Whereas we got Dack Fayden is going to be Fate 10. Can't even speak. It's going to be our extra copies of Thirst for Knowledge. Our main fatty this time around is I'm choosing Sphinx with the Steel Wind because flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink on a 6/6 is excellent against Delver decks, and the Pro Red means it cannot be stolen by opposing Dack Faydens, which I think is pretty important. Mindslaver has been replaced with Time Vault Voltaic Key as like the I win button, because even though Time Vault Voltaic Key takes up 2 slots, they're kind of lame on their own and they don't really do anything. It's still only 4 mana to win as opposed to 10 mana to win if you just like end up top decking it. And Voltaic Key has some cool interactions with Sensei Top, where you can go tap the top, hold priority, use Voltaic Key to untap the top, tap it again. So what happens is the first one resolves, so you draw a card, Sensei Top goes on top of the library, and then the second one resolves and you draw the top, so you're really just netting a card. It's one of those weird things, but I mean, it's all a game of edges. The main other difference is Knight's Whisper, where these kind of control decks usually run Dark Confidant, but in these days, with Treasure Cruise and Delver really running rampant everywhere, and Young Pyromancer decks, and Lightning Bolts being everywhere, Knight's Whisper is an interesting twist because it's still like 1 colorless and a black mana in your main phase, and you lose life and trade for cards, but Dark Confidant, I don't like this deck because you got like random high hitters like Notion Thief, Sphinx, and Jace who can just completely ruin your day, and we're 4 forces, and it's like, alright, I'm doing good, and then in like 2 turns you take 11 damage and you're suddenly dead. Also, he typically doesn't live a few turns because he's just susceptible to removal and things like bolts, fire, and ice. Just remove him. Knight's Whisper is like a confidant that lives for 2 turns and you don't lose as much life, and it's immediate. So, that's kind of an alternate draw engine that we're testing out. Goblin Welder, of course, for shenanigans, bunch of cheap artifacts, Notion Thief and Snapcaster Nature Value. Notion Thief is just hilarious for blowouts, and having 1 copy in your deck, you will see it a million more times than obviously having 0 copies. We've got now Spellbomb and Grafdigger's Cage. I should say Neil Spellbomb, whatever. Depends on how you like. I'm probably saying it correctly. Stop Oath and Treasure Cruise kind of decks. It's also minimal Dredge Hate. I really kind of build this deck like Cheaty Face, where it's normally if you bring a deck to a tournament, you're going to want to have like, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 7, 6 pieces of Dredge Hate. And I'm really running none, because I mean, if I lose on Cockatrice, screw it. Screw that prisoner playing Dredge on Cockatrice. We got 4 Ingot Chewers to cover the Shops matchup. Single Mountain, cover the Shops matchup. Shattering Spree is a blowout. It's different from Hurkyl's Recall, I suppose. But I mean, it's interesting. Toxic Deluge and Pyroclasm for Fish and Delver decks. Pyroblast for other blue decks. Flusterstorm for other blue decks. And Lightning Bolt again for more removal in those Fish matchups. And let's see how it pans out. See you in a few minutes when some guy comes